Hi, everybody. We've got quite a show line up here today, as you can see on the pre-show notes. Blake Middleton checking in from the land of 10,000 lakes. Late summer up there, or mid to late summer, I guess, in Minnesota. Scout country. David James from across the bridge in Sausalito saying good afternoon. Jamie Hutchison in Saratoga Springs, New York. Andrew Pindar, evening from the Queen of Watering Places. I wonder what that is. Fritz Muller down in Miami. Gordon Smith in Denmark. Mary Jude. Hello, Mary Jude Szymanski. Good afternoon to you. Ed Worley checking in here from California. Sent us a couple of funny ones, Julia, for this show. Christopher Gillingham's back across the English Channel, and he's back home in Leamington after their sojourn to France aboard their yacht. Alistair Murray, good day from down under. We got a nice A, not 4, A5. I'll explain why, Julia.
Uh-oh.
Got an A5.
Good.
Ted Ryman in Cape Town, as usual, in the Republic of South Africa. Gordon Smith saying, I think Andrew Pindar might be in a pub, you think? Let's get this one off the road.
5,
Off the dock.
3, 2, 1.
Julia's laughing because I have a new foot switch and I can change scenes now with my feet. I don't have to click on my mouse, and I can go to the slides, I can go to the comments where Graham Sweeney is saying, good evening from Shetland. We got a nice segment with Graham Sweeney. Alan Long watching from Chicago. I think Andrew Pindar, Gordon Smith said. But again, I can change at least between camera one and the slides and the comments with my foot pedal.
Yeah, lots of people are ambidextrous, but
Well,
you are quadridextrous.
I can't, well, what is it? Pat your head and rub your belly, or is it rub your head and pat your belly? I can't do either. Well, hi everybody. Welcome to show number, what is this? Show number 545. We were just passing 500. We're almost to 550. I can't believe it. And we're having fun. These shows are fun. The input, we're getting more and more input from the FOSI, Julia. It's fabulous.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate it very much. As usual, we are live again here from Studio B at the Beach Street Yacht Club on a lovely summer afternoon, mid-August afternoon here in San Francisco in the Marina District. And once again, welcome to all of you. Alistair Murray is saying, I would give my right hand to be ambidextrous. My dad used to say ambidextrous just means that you're equally awkward with both hands. I don't know that. Carlos Vies in Brasilia. Christopher Beck was saying hello. Hi, Christopher. Long time. Haven't seen you on. He's sometimes they're on in stealth and we don't know it. Tier DeYoung is down in SoCal. But let's get into it. We got a great show. A lot of interesting stuff from across the pond, across the other big pond, the Pacific. And we start as usual with the pre-start, courtesy of John Emmett, the Castle Cove Sailing Club. And today is, you saw it in the,
I did.
In the
National
show notes.
Rum Day.
Tom Fishbeck saying hello from Bakersfield. And it is indeed National Rum Day. There's somebody pouring a dark and stormy on their yacht, Gosling's Rum. And what do you pour to make it dark and stormy?
I don't.
You don't?
Uh-uh.
Ginger beer. It's very sweet. A lot of calories.
Yeah.
That's why we drink tequila soda.
I know.
JFB reaches build milestone. Major construction is done. High from subtropical Austin. Drought is broken in the Rio Grande Valley. Yeah, and I spoke, texted back and forth with James Frederick Bland this morning, and he is going to come on either in September or maybe in early October to build it, to bring us up to date on that whole build. And we're going to do a segment on building boats at home, in your garage, in your basement, and talk not just about, what is it, the Pelican that he's building, but okay dinghies and Optimus and whatever else you might do. But I'm not a Blake Middleton. I'm not a rum drinking man. I'm not a drinking man at all, but I sure saw plenty of joy down under for rum. Carter Gowrie, hi Carter, saying every day is Rum Day, and Alistair Murray, National Rum Day, that's my day. And there's a bit of a dispute, Julie, as to whether it's National Rum Day here in the U.S., which it is,
Yes.
and whether it's also International Rum Day.
Depends if you're a rum drinker or not.
Well, no, because International Rum Day is actually in July. But
oh yeah?
But why do we care? It's still Rum Day somewhere in the world.
Any day is good for Rum Day.
And here we are, the famous red hat. We talked at one point about collecting all these red hats, as many of them as possible, putting them together in some kind of a huge collection.
Yeah.
Everybody throwing in the FOSI and others.
Yeah.
And then auctioning them off for charity for, something, for some good charity.
I've given most of mine away. I think I only have one left.
Well, I've got a few. I mean, I still keep collecting them, but over the years, thanks to Mount Gay Rum in Barbados, 3 centuries of excellence since 1703, reputed to be the oldest continuous rum distiller. Is that the right word? Mm-hmm. And the Visitor Center in Barbados. And today is, some say, is the International Rum Day. Others say it's just the National Rum Day in the U.S. Regardless, we don't care because, as Jody Shields says, I'm not a rum drinker. That's what I tell my therapist. Hey, Jody, while you're on here, I just want to ask you, we're gonna talk about it in the Sale GP segment, but one hears there was a report that Nathan Outteridge was going to drive this weekend for Sale GP for the Danish team. Now I'm hearing that maybe he's not, and I wonder if somebody can clarify that for us. Fritz Mueller, isn't Mount Gay owned by Appletons? Yeah, I think somebody did buy them.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, I think that. Rum and tonic isn't half bad either. J. Frederick Bland, I think that's who that is. So on whatever National or International Rum Day, it's the 16th of August, we have a couple things to talk about related there too. Rum is a liquor, as you all know, made by fermenting and then distilling sugarcane, molasses, or other sugarcane juice. The distillate, a clear liquid, is usually aged in oak barrels. Rum is produced in nearly every sugar-producing region of the world, such as the Philippines. I had no idea. Where Tanduay, I checked with a Filipino friend this morning to see how to pronounce that.
Yeah.
Tanduay is the largest producer of rum globally. I had no idea.
I think almost every island has its own rum.
Well, did you know that the Philippines is the largest rum producer in the world?
I didn't know that.
I did not either. Rum and Sonic, equal parts soda and tonic. I'd not heard of rum and Sonic. Cuts of sweetness. Nice idea. Hello, Jennifer Dunbar.
Gosh, hi.
The esteemed, talk about senior serious people at St. Francis Yacht Club. Nice to see Jen on. Ed Worley, TNZ may not want Nathan the helm, could make NZ look bad. Bundaberg and Coca-Cola, Gordon Smith is saying in Denmark.
Bundaberg needs Coca-Cola.
What is that's German?
No, it's an Australian rum.
Oh, that's right. We talked about it one other time on the show.
Yes.
Somebody got into all this. Blake saying during the first Heaven Can Wait race on Lake Macquarie when he was down there helping Jody, we ran around hard when we chased a drifting mark into shallow water. Our sails were down in seconds, and one of our crew simply stopped and said, "It's clearly time for a rum."
Lovely.
Happy Tuesday. It's been a while. Hi, Jeff Ogle. Nice to see you back. Graham Sweeney. Splice the main brace. Everyone talking like a pirate.
Yeah.
Bundaberg. Fritz Mueller reminding us from Brisbane. Replying to go, the worst rum ever. I don't know about that.
It's great for putting on chicken before you baste it, though.
Chicken? You put rum on chicken? Before you baste it?
Yeah.
And before you broil it or grill it.
I looked for a long time for good use of Bundaberg because it's really heavy. But
it's Australia. What do you expect from the Aussies? They're serious about their grog.
Oh, well, they have great grog, but Bundaberg is really deep, and but it is a great basting.
Basting. Well, our Aussie friends won't be pleased to hear that. The problem with Tanduay is that it is cheaper than Coke, so when one orders a rum and Coke, it is all the rum, David James. Bill Parker. Hello, Bill, from down and around Cincinnati, southern Ohio, southern Missouri. I put rum in all my birds, Graham Sweeney says. Buddy is overproofed. I wonder what that means, Tom Fishback. Andrew Pindar, time for a Zoom party where everyone shows up their favorite and most obscure rum. We've got more comments in the first segment of this show, Julia, than any other show in history. Morris Stevens, Gosling's is my favorite rum. Well, we learned to drink Mount Gay rum at New York Yacht Club.
Eclipse.
I was told that you know, if you're going to be a New York Yacht Club, this back a long time ago, 40 years ago, you have to learn to drink Mount Gay. And here at New York Yacht Club, we take it not neat, but without ice, certainly without orange juice, never with Coke.
No.
But with a splash of water. Maybe 1 cube, maybe a splash of water, but you don't ever put Coke or orange juice or, you know, excuse me. Best rum is Zacapa from Guatemala, Alistair Murray is asserting.
And he should know.
Pedro Farling Sailor, hope you're feeling better, Peter. There is a drinking game called How Many Polar Bears Are There Around the Polar Bear Ring using Bundaberg. Rum as their logo is a polar bear. Jody would know the rules. Jonathan Frank weighing in. He was in Tokyo. Where are you now, Jonathan? He's flown back probably to the U.S. on United, where he is a senior captain, flying 777s these days. Andrew Pindar, he says Bones rum. Andrew Mount Gay had a nice presence at Cows this year. The red caps
are back.
Oh,
good, because they were gone for.
They were. Well, rum, we already covered this about Tanduay and Philippines being the largest producer. I had no idea. Rum plays a part in the culture of most islands of the West Indies, the Caribbean, as well as the maritime provinces and Newfoundland in Canada, and of course Newport, Rhode Island as well was a big center of the rum trade back in the Revolutionary War days, before and after. In fact, arguably that's one of the reasons why the revolting colonies revolted.
Of course.
Because of the taxes on sugar and rum. The beverages famous associations, as I'm sure you all know, with the Royal Navy, where it was mixed with water or beer to make grog, and piracy, where it was consumed as, I've never heard this word.
No, I haven't either. Bumbo.
What is bumbo? Is it anything like a bimbo, or does rum make a bumbo into a bimbo? Rum has also served as a popular medium of economic exchange, used to help fund enterprises such as slavery, as we all know, the triangular trade, organized crime, and military insurgencies, the aforementioned American Revolution, and Australia's rum rebellion, Julia, which we've also covered on this show back in the day.
Yeah.
Places named rum. I'd never heard of any of these. Rum is a Scottish island or room. Rum, Austria, a Tyrolean market town. Rum Cay, I'd heard that actually in the Bahamas. Rum Hill, a mountain in Otsego County in New York. Rum, Hungary, I ran into that today researching this article. Little village in the west end of Hungary. Rum, in Iran, there was in fact a whole region called Rum, a village in the South Khorasan province. Rum Island in Tasmania, you Aussies will know that, an Australian island. And finally, Rum River, a waterway, Blake, up near you. Blake, did you know this Rum River waterway near Minneapolis, Minnesota? And the comments continue to pour in.
Rum Illustrated.
pour in. Yeah, we got Rum Illustrated going on. Pusser is not Prussers, it's Pussers, isn't it? Pussers rum.
Yeah.
Hello, Julie Aarons. Hello from cloudy Cleveland. Love my rum with a splash. I could use some now. I'd probably make the show a lot better, Julie, if we had a rum and a splash. Right
I'm
now.
off at that. Yeah.
Is it true or folklore that Mount Gay was the original with the British? I don't know. Maybe, I'm sure one of the FOSI will know that. Hello, Susan Epstein. Myers rum and tonic water with a wedge of lemon is the best. Cheers from Hull, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Nice town, beautiful town. Time to go to the liquor store. Rum. Replying to Pussers. Alistair Murray is fixing it for us. Alistair's up early. He really submitted a nice video today too.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, it's really he's afloat, so we can't call it A4 anymore. We have to call it A5. Alistair's awesome. Aussie anecdote,
that's what
afloat. Steve Gruber, there's a game called Rum Around meant to be played around a campfire. Open a fresh bottle and throw the cap in the fire. Pass the rum around until the bottle is empty. That is followed by crawling to one's tent. I thought it was followed by jumping over the fire and seeing if you can do it without singeing your whatever. Yes, Blake Middleton says, I was aware but never visited the Rum River in Minnesota. Rum Line. The RHUMB, the shortest distance to the bar. The rum line, of course, is on the race course. On a tangent, absinthe makes the tart grow fonder. Pusser's rum makes a nice painkiller, Jonathan Franks.
Yes.
And Julia, I had to look up today to see if the card game gin rummy.
Yeah.
Or just plain rummy. And then there's the version of rummy called gin rummy,
Yeah.
if those are named after the cocktails. And who knows? Various people asserted various things. Rum was first mentioned in reference to records of Barbados in 1690, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica, Christopher Beckwith is saying. So I digress. This is a long digression. But it's all yachting and sailing related, as it's central to our sport, as you all know. That is not just drinking, but rum. Now, did you know about the number of X's on the barrels?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. The number of X's represented the amount of duty paid, with triple X not being porn, but being the highest. The duty due was judged on the alcoholic strength of the liquor, and so strong drinks like rum would have attracted the highest taxation. Hence, the barrels would have been branded with 3 crosses using a hot iron. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that was a use for it.
I didn't either. 1650, yep, 1650. Regardless, a long time ago. Time for a rum run right now, Julia. We're making everybody thirsty.
Yes, I lived on rum and orange juice for a long time till I found out how much sugar was in it.
How much sugar? Oh gosh, don't ever drink that at New York Yacht Club, as I was saying.
Well, I never did.
Good for you.
I'm a rum and soda fan.
Well, a couple people said that makes it a rum and Sonic. Time for a rum. Yep. I really appreciate this segment. It broadens my horizons as always. Peter Taylor, say hi to your bride, Sandy, in New York City. But wait, there's more. Now, do you recognize that?
That's Hawaii.
You know, I don't think it is. I think it's the Caribbean, but I couldn't find it. It could be Hawaii, but I'm pretty sure it's sugarcane grown in the Caribbean. We got to do a little bit about sugarcane because I didn't know this, but they grow a lot of sugarcane in Australia. Have a look at this. Today we will have a look at sugarcane growing, these are the lower thirds, processed in this country, meaning Australia. I had no idea this is how you do this in a modern sugarcane farm, plantation. Well, it looks like harvesting, but not really. They're harvesting the seedlings. The seedlings are about 6 months old. And they're replanted in a much larger field. Stuff must grow like topsy. Yeah. I won't play the whole video, but the segments of sugarcane will be planted directly. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
High production. Australia's sugarcane is grown in high rainfall and irrigated areas along coastal plains. So it continues to grow normally. In Oz, it's common to harvest sugarcane when it reaches 1.5 years. A long growth period. Burning cane to remove excess leaf matter prior to harvesting. We knew that was a thing. But look at this. It's the guy walking down the line with a torch and lighting the sugarcane. The truth is that it accumulates sugar, making the sugarcane sweeter.
Yes.
I did not know that. Did you know that?
No, but it makes sense. I knew they was burned to get rid of the extra greens.
Maybe you should try it at home. Okay, I think we've seen enough of that. But Ted Ryman is saying that, yeah, South Africa also grows a lot of sugar cane. I guess it's a big deal. Look at that. That's a fabulous video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but even Australia, where it looks like it is at least at this plantation, a bumper crop.
Oh, yes.
The sugar cane after burning looks quite dry, yes. They're harvested by the same machine at the beginning of the video. One that was taking out the seedlings. Okay, have we seen enough of that? I think we have. Finally, on this Alcoholics Anonymous segment, the Sailing Illustrated Alcohol segment, rum segment, drinking rum before 10 a.m. makes you a pirate, not an alcoholic. And I don't know, do you know who Earl Dibbles Jr. is?
It's Earl Dribbles.
No, it's not Dibbles. It should be Dribbles. But I think
No.
that's a good sentiment. Bill Wingrove, when in Hawaii as a kid, the sugarcane fields surrounded our neighborhood. When they burned the sugarcane the next morning was almost like a light dusting of snow with the ashes. Now Yarvahe is saying he wants a bunt right now. Jonathan Frank, Callwood Rum Distillery in the BVI's is claimed to be in continuous production for over 400 years. Yeah, Bundy. Bundy. Okay, have we talked enough about drinking rum? One can only hope.
Now we have to go have one.
Well, if the Beach Street Yacht Club bartender were here, we could order one up.
I know.
We have to have a full-time bartender here.
I know. Have to do our own afterwards.
Okay, enough about rum. I just want to go to this beautiful photo because I've had some. This was the photo I told you about in the Friday show from Christopher Gillingham as they sailed over to France, spent a few days or maybe a week or so there, and then have now sailed back. They're home safe and sound in Livingston. And he sent a note this morning. Thanks for the coverage on the show. He said, I had a great crossing back to the UK across the English Channel. We enjoyed catching up with Friday's show. Thank you for sharing the photos. I took one of the photos prior to sunset that you had mentioned. This is that photo. And of course, it looks like they're sailing downwind, which you think means they're sailing to the east. And indeed they were. That's a sunset as they were traveling across the channel over to France a week or so ago, or so Christopher told me this morning. Wow, on that photo, Blake Middleton saying, yep. Was Earl Dibbles the first reject from Alcoholics Anonymous? Yeah, Gordon Smith was right. It was a sunset, and we need a FOSI. He says, we really appreciate the FOSI sending in your travel logs, what's going on in your life, and I think all of our viewers enjoy it as well.
Right.
Okay, we gets us to the starting line. I would take that horn out. I think that's obnoxious. And our usual segment with our FOSI John Emmett, who checked in this morning with his coach's corner and another walkabout. He'd been at the gym, it looks like, and he was walking home. Have a look. And have a listen. There may be a quiz.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the FOSI. I think in the last little walk and talk I did, it was something about making hay while the sun shines. So you may have noticed the first few seconds of the clip were indoors because unfortunately the sun is definitely not shining in Ibiza. I'm a bit worried I'm becoming a very good target for stalkers. As I walk home, people will see exactly where I live. But it is quite nice to have a walk and talk. This is what I do a lot, just to make the most of the available time. We talked a little bit before about the importance of active recoveries, and an active recovery can be literally going for a fast walk. And I always used to feel, probably especially when coaching Lily, that to walk and talk was good because then you get an outdoor environment. And it's very important to have the right environment for communication. And when you have that one-to-one, it's easier to express your thoughts. And a lot of people think my job is just about getting hours and hours on the water and, how many days do we sail a year and how many hours a day and all the rest of it. But actually a lot of it is the psychology and the big picture stuff that goes towards putting together a performance. So the talking, and I do a lot of talking. The talking is probably one of the most important things I do. And over the years, I've definitely got into the habit of a walk and talk. So you have just one person, and one-to-one, and they can probably speak more freely than they would do in a group environment. And when I do coach groups, and I still do that, I'm going to be involved with the Emerging Nations programme next month. I think I've mentioned making it easy for people to come and talk to me and to be approachable. I think that's one of the things. It's actually quite hard to coach family members because they might be less receptive to ideas than I have in my work job. So I think one of the things we'll talk about later is going to be the analytics, because it's not only what you learn, but it's what you remember. And that's a really important thing, those life lessons which are sometimes learnt the hard way. We talk a little bit about fool me once or fool me twice type thing, but the idea is we learn from our mistakes. And as a coach, I'm always really keen to ensure that sailors don't have to learn things unnecessarily the hard way. So if you like, they can learn from my mistakes. And it's about putting together an effective and fun training program. And so today, as I joked about making hay where sun shines, I'm not sure how you can see, but I'm trying to be very careful not to step in a puddle and get a wet foot. I don't think I'm going to be eaten by a dog or anything. So what we want to do is make the best of the day. So today we ended up doing a double gym session because the sailing conditions were unsuitable, and I always feel that wet days are perhaps not the best days to be cycling. If anyone's read Golden Lily and seen what happened just a few months before the Weymouth Olympic Games. So I think probably as I've got older I've become more risk averse, because I just know taking small but unnecessary risks can have bad consequences. So we're just on my little walk home now. So without giving away exactly where I live, I'm going to say goodbye now. I think also my pocket is struggling to follow me, but hopefully I'll make it to the show. Have a great show, and guess what event I'm going to be talking about next? Bye for now.
Okay, now remember this segment because it's going to come up again at the end of this day in history. Apropos a comment, in fact, Ed Worley is saying there is a famous picture showing Ted Turner and Gary Jobson, how they would walk and talk every morning during the Cup in '77. Yes, they'd walk, it wasn't that long a walk, but from the crew house down to the dock, and that was their moment in the morning when they talked about what had happened the day before, what needed to happen today, and that walk, how important it was to them. And of course, any number of other people might say the same, and we're going to bring this is going to come back at the end of this day in history.
That's good.
We were making a connection. Thanks, John Emmett. John Emmett Sailing, go to the front of the fleet. And by the way, John, also, I saw this note this morning. Did you hear he called it, what he called Weymouth in that video? I think he called it Weybethia. That must be sailor in, Ibiza, the big party town.
Yeah.
The big party island in the Balearics, out next to.
Which I've always said Ibiza, but.
Well, Ibiza, but everybody who speaks Spanish, at least Castellano, says Ibiza, and I think he said Weybetha, but we'll have to ask John if that's what he said. Regardless, Weybetha is going to celebrate in October the 50th anniversary of something I'd heard about over the years. And they've been doing this since 1972. This year we will celebrate 50 years of the Weymouth Speed Week. And we expect a large and varied turnout with places being taken quickly. New this year will be a wingboard class. To enter the event, go to weymouthspeedweek.com where you will find further details. Entries will close at midnight on the 18th September. Weymouth Speed Week 2022 starts on Saturday, the 15th of October and continues for 7 days. We look forward to seeing you there, and John assures me, Julia, that he is going to cover it, indeed cover it for us.
Great.
Isn't that good news?
Yes.
I think that's really cool. Weymouth Speed Week. Yarvahe saying, yeah, Speed Week is cool, and it is indeed. I've not been, but from my recollections, it's really been a cool event, and it predates Foiling Week at Garda and all these things by a long time, but that was the idea of getting fast yachts, sailboats together and doing
of all kinds,
catamarans, and back when catamarans were not all that fashionable.
In fact, unfashionable.
Well, yeah, maybe. Walking and talking, Gordon Smith says, is a favorite of mine. Very good for sharing and coming closer to a shared perspective. Okay, that's nice. Let's go through now to this day in history. Speaking of that, I turned that up loud so that we could hear John, whose level was a little soft. This day in history, yesterday, do you know what happened on this day in 1998? And Julia, I dedicate this segment as much to John, but also maybe more so to you.
Oh, yeah?
Here's why. Here's your first clue.
Apples.
What is that?
It's an early Mac.
It is the iMac that saved the company.
Yes.
You have one upstairs.
I do.
In your office.
I do.
I keep trying to get you to throw it away.
It's iconic.
It is iconic. Chic, not geek. I mean, it was this. August 15th,
Yeah.
yesterday, 1998, the iMac G3. We had these in our office in Hamburg, Germany, late 90s. Apple's brightly colored, translucent Macintosh relaunch goes on, this is after Jobs rejoined the company, goes on sale to a rabid audience. Steve Jobs' first major new product since returning to Apple, the internet-ready iMac, cements his legacy as a forward-thinking tech visionary. It also introduces the world to the design talents of the Brit, Johnny Ive, and pretty much saves Apple in the process. See,
Absolutely.
We've already had 100 comments, and we're not 30 minutes into the show. Apple II was my first. Alex Kent says Blake Middleton recognized that as the iMac. Well, that was how many years ago? That's 34 years ago, right? 24 years ago. 24 years ago. And there's the brilliant, obviously, everybody knows that, Steve Jobs, who believed his most creative ideas came when he was walking, right? He often held meetings while walking around with staff. I remember Larry Ellison telling me a story about walking around with Steve Jobs. Larry was on his board for a long time. He was completely correct. Walking energizes our brains, reduces stress, improves our mood, and can boost communication. Inc. magazine followed up with a story a couple of years ago. Steve Jobs had a favorite way to hold a meeting with an employee, partner, or potential collaborator. He liked to walk, usually simply strolling around the company's neighborhood in Cupertino, down in the South Bay. He was onto something. Conducting a meeting while walking has clear health benefits for the participants, but it turns out it benefits the meeting too. New research from the University of Hong Kong shows that walking side by side helps people connect to each other. This effect is so powerful that it works on people who've never met before, even while they aren't speaking to each other. And it happens, according to Inc. magazine, this article, in less than 5 minutes.
That's interesting.
It is. Had you heard that?
No.
Gordon Smith saying walking and drink is even better. Walking and rum must be really good for you, Jonathan Franks. Okay, here's the punchline. After what we heard from John, I ask you all, is John Emmett the Steve Jobs of sailing?
Well,
He gets us walking around. What do you think, Julia?
I mean, he's certainly a relative.
How do you like that? I worked on that picture this morning to do that. Get the
well, that was good.
Huh?
That's good.
Oh, man. So that ties that together. I should have done something with rum in this slide. I should have put some Mount Gay logo or something between. I don't think Jobs did much. He did other recreational drugs.
No, he
besides alcohol.
Yeah.
John Jobs. John Jobs. Ted Ryman is asking. Okay, enough of this day in history. Julia, you're going to keep that Mac upstairs? That's a 24-year-old Mac.
Well, it's beautiful.
Well, it's beautiful, but it's today you could use it as a small boat anchor or a doorstop, but it's not going to work very well as a computer.
It is a great jukebox, though.
Well, but you've got all sorts of better jukeboxes up there. That little HomePod that I got to bring back up to you.
I don't have it.
You got to bring it up.
I've got a great speaker set, though.
How many Macs do you have up there? 1, 2, 3, right?
And two other old
ones that aren't. That are in the stack. I have a stack of old notebooks, laptops.
Yeah, I do too.
Just in case I ever need to go back in there and find something for the IRS or whatever.
I know.
Oh, man. There are 5. I counted them this morning. There are 5 Macs in this Beach Street Yacht Club here in.
Yes.
Keep it, Julia, Blake says. The John Jobbies, Emmett.
Well.
Julie Aarons, I had the first Mac, a Mac 512 in 1986. I'm on my 8th one. Now I have a Mac Mini. I have a Mac Mini and the Mac Studio and God knows what else.
Yeah.
Peter Taylor, you should put the old iMac in your evac boat in the garage.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, right. Take the guts out and put a fishbowl in it. We should call him Johnny Walker. Yarvahe had a Next computer. Yeah, Next. Boy, those were expensive. All a long time ago now. But yeah, I tell you what, these She's right. The Mac Mini, which that was the first thing I bought a year and a half ago now to power this setup, and we streamed with that computer when it first came out, and it was great. But now you can barely see it down here. But we got the Mac Studio, which is like 2.5 Mac Minis, and way powerful. And the thing is, we're using right now 13% of the CPU to do this stream with 18 different sources, scenes. It's unbelievable. Okay, enough about Macs, but you can do that with PCs as well. Very cool. And we go off that segment and get into another one. Let's see if we can digress again. It's fun to digress. Bravo Zulu, we've been talking about the 505 Worlds, and they completed on Saturday. They did get some racing in Saturday. Bravo Zulu to everybody involved. Here's a nice video. I won't play the whole thing. From Cork, County Cork, Royal Cork Yacht Club. Oh, I should say here, you see that's a rabbit start. That's how the 5-0s do. They send a Pathfinder, that's the port tack boat, goes out on port tack, and then the fleet has to cross behind them, and every now and then they run into there's a race committee boat that follows the Pathfinder. Did you see that collision there? But it's an interesting way to start, and it is it cuts, you don't have general recalls, and it's a fairly fair way to start as well,
especially for that many boats.
Exactly. There are the winners. Stu McNay and Caleb Payne from the U.S. John Emmett saying that Sam Pascoe, who cruised second place, is currently winning the RS 2000 Nationals at CCSC with his 6-year-old son. I think they arrived 6 hours before the first race. Yeah, it's amazing how you get on a roll, you have a good regatta, and carry on. I'm not going to run these interviews. This is Stu and Caleb. The boat comes alongside. Maybe listen for a sec.
22 Cork Island 505 World Champs. How do you feel, boys?
Oh, fantastic. We didn't really expect this, and it came together awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. What do I feel like? I feel like a world champ. That's what I'm feeling.
That's Caleb Payne there on the left, who's
philosophy.
crewing, who was, of course, the Olympic bronze medalist for the U.S. in the fin
You
class.
can party once the work's done,
Yeah. Well, congratulations, boys. It
Thank
was
you so much.
a convincing win. You guys, it looks like you've pulled a stock boat, stock sales out, and so you just sell better. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Just lots of racing experience and used it to our advantage, and obviously pairing up with Stu did great, and most of all our coach Dave Hughes, who was a vital asset to our team. There the guy is still working away. So
Yeah. Coach Hughes, world-class coaching.
Exactly.
He's the man.
He's the man. There you go. So Coach Hughes, world-class coaching. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course the bar karate curse. We told
You called it. I was like, oh no.
Sounds like you need to start selling that spot.
Everyone that comes on the show wins.
Usually the worst thing you can do is talk about your race right before it, but bar karate's figured it out. So.
That's the bar karate
too as well.
podcast, as Jody keeps reminding
You
us.
look form from
Not
day
his,
one,
but
and then
another
you were
Aussie.
able to
Great
go through the
podcast.
range today. I wondered how you go to win your stuff, and it was just beautiful to watch, like you were on fire.
Okay, enough of all this. They go on to interview the runners-up and maybe even the third place. And you can watch that if you just Google 2022 505 Worlds Cork or whatever it is. Terrific stuff. Bravo Zulu to them. Beautiful sights when they finally did get some wind on the last day, which was Saturday. Blake Middleton saying, well done, Stu and Caleb. Yeah, Fritz Muller, the boat was brand new and the sails were right out of the box. They put it together. And yacht racing. I don't know quite how they choose the there's Nathan and Sam. And now they'll listen for a second.
Coming in, you know, we said it was between 1 and 2 boats, and it was just flipped on the pre-worlds. How do we feel it?
Really happy with it. You know, we'd have been over the moon with second before the event, and Stu and Caleb are a bit of a league apart, really. You know, they're real professionals. So come second to those guys. Yeah, very happy with that. Best of the rest.
Okay, it's a little hard to hear with the sail slatting and so on, but you get the idea. This is so cool of a class to do this. It's not hard. You get out there, he's probably got an iPhone, maybe some better video camera, shooting it. They pull up alongside, do an interview with him. Okay, there's not a lot of breeze. It's reasonably flat, but great stuff. And that's what classes should do. This is what clubs and classes should do. It's not hard to do. They put it up within, within a day. And John, you could see their kite saying that they both work for Ovington Boats. Well done to the whole 505 class. And I think the other thing of note, let's go on now. There the winners are. There's Caleb on the left, crewing for Stu McNay. Stu's a longtime 470 champ in this class. Has he medaled in the 470? I can't rightly remember. But bravo Zulu to them, and bravo Zulu to the rest of the 70 some odd boat fleet. And you'll notice there that Nathan and Sam, we mentioned, Peter, Nicholas, and Luke Payne from Australia were third. They were pretty consistently in third through the regatta. Jan Philipp Hoffmann and Felix Brockerhoff from Deutschland were fourth. Mike Martin and Adam Lowry, the many-time world champions who train here in San Francisco Bay, members of St. Francis Yacht Club, they had been trailing, and then as the breeze came, they're a more of a heavy air, but they can sail in anything, but they climbed up on the last day and eclipsed Morgan Pinckney. They got into fifth. Morgan Pinckney and he's only 17, sailing in his first 505 Worlds with Garrett Brown, dropped to sixth, and then so on down the list. So bravo Zulu to all of them, to the class. Just fantastic stuff. Really pleased to see that going on. Bill Wingrove, I wonder if Ethan Bixby and Trudy Bixby were there. I don't know. Interesting. And maybe we'll get somebody on here who's an expert. Maybe Blake Middleton can tell us about how because Blake has been running rabbit starts for the E-Scouts. Didn't I see a comment from him?
He wanted to.
Passing through?
I think it said he wanted to.
Oh, I'd like to do a rabbit start.
Yeah.
Good eye, Julia. But the class would never go for it in a million years. Yeah, it's the first three times you do it. I've done it in the fireball class. It's a little weird. And you have to pick whether you want to be on the right or the left side of the course by how late you go in behind the rabbit. Because if you go in late, you're pretty well blocked out to the upwind left. And if you go in early, you're blocked into the upwind left. And if you go in late behind the rabbit who's going across on port tack, you can then tack and go to the upwind right. And, you have to judge that, and like anything else. But it does cut down on hugely frustrating
false starts.
Yeah, nonstop general recalls in a lot of classes. Okay, let's carry on here to another cool event that is going on in Europe. A lot of you asked for more coverage on this. This is the Round Britain and Ireland race, RORC's event, which is every 4 years. It used to be every 2 years, but it's every 4 years now. And it is, the graphic notwithstanding, I double checked this, it's 1,805 nautical miles. So that, that's 3 Bermuda races. That's 3 Fastnet races. That's 3 Sydney Hobart races. Clockwise around Britain and Ireland. Here's a little bit better graphic showing where they start in Cowes, go out around Fastnet Rock, and then up the the west coasts of Ireland and Scotland, St. Kilda, and finally to gotta be my favorite lighthouse, favorite town in the world, Muckleflugga. Say that a few times, Julia.
Muckleflugga.
Muckleflugga. I think it's they say
Flugga.
I think it's Flugga, not Flugga. Flugga auf Deutsch.
Uh-huh.
Muckleflugga. And this race, it's been so light and slow, as Andrew McIrvin told us it was going to be. I think it had not even started when he was on there. It was just about to start, and he said it was going to be. Yeah, and but there's a lot of cool stuff going on in this race. The start and finishes at Cowes. It's been every 4 years of late. May have been every 2 years back in the 90s. I think it started in 92. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But cool stuff. And there's some cool videos as well. I'm going to play 2. One just because it's a bunch of Army guys sailing in this race, UK Army guys, and I think it's interesting.
Why is it UK Army guys?
Well, because they're Brits. I mean, it's a race around the Brit.
I know.
But they're in the race, and apparently they've often sailed in it, and they've got officers, and they've got gentlemen, and they've got some young kids as well, some dinghy sailors. Have a look.
The 7-Star Around Britain Island is part of the RORC programme for Fujitsu British Soldier. It's the biggest race we do. It's really important to us. It's a fantastic sailors race. It's 3 fast nets, you know, it's absolutely brilliant. So as a team, we're all serving soldiers and officers. We've Lieutenant Colonel down to 2 private soldiers on board as well, all ranges, backgrounds and experience. So we've got 3 that have done it before. This is my 4th one, and then the skipper, Phil, is on his 3rd. One of the crew has done it before, but we've got a couple of dinghy sailors on board as well that haven't really sailed offshore very much at all, and they've done the qualifying mileage to be able to do this race, and but yeah, they've not done much night sailing at all.
We're going well, light winds as everyone has had, but we're close to the top of Ireland now and going nicely.
It's been quite mentally tough knowing that it's going to be a longer race than we hoped or planned for, but we've already started rationing our water, food and other supplies. The main concern is that we run out of coffee, so we're double using coffee bags. That's not too much of a problem. Morale is high, as always. Typical soldiers, just cracking on with it really, so that's good. The most amazing thing we've seen so far, I think, has been the wildlife. There's been quite a lot of dolphins, quite a lot of chat on the rail about whether dolphins wear seagulls as hats. But anyway, that's probably funny on the boat, not funny off the boat. The sunrises and sunsets have been absolutely awesome. That's been a definite highlight so far. The ability to get some rest and rest well for the rest of the race, which hopefully, being a heavier, fully crewed boat, will come into our own when we can load the rail up and get cracking. But we're looking forward to being fully powered up and getting around the top in good order with enough food, water, gas, etc. to take us round. That's it from British Soldier. Fair winds to everyone, and we'll see you all soon.
So a long, slow race, as you heard, and as Andrew McIrvin predicted when he was on, a week ago, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think he was on, it was a week ago today. And it's some nice stuff coming out of this race. And talk about the sunsets. This was a shot on their website, on the RORC sub-site for this race. And the headline this morning, Joy and Pain on Ascent to Muckle Flugga. After 9 days of racing, 21 teams are still competing in the 7-Star Round Britain and Ireland race. All bar 3 of those teams have rounded St. Kilda, the isolated Scottish archipelago in the North Atlantic. Pip Hare-Zamoka, we're going to have a video from her in a moment, has rounded Muckle Flugga, the most northern extremity of the course. The international fleet is forecast to experience low pressure for the first time in the race. This is a report from last night. A building northerly wind is expected to arrive tonight. After 9 days and nights of sweltering heat and little wind, the teams are preparing themselves for hopefully a sleigh ride down the eastern shore, eastern coast. The stronger winds to come. The majority of teams are past the Midway 900-mile waypoint up there at, I have love to say it again, Muckle Flugga, and there is optimism for a faster second half of the race. Now, Julia, I ask you.
Yes.
Do you know where that is?
Fastnet, is it?
No.
No?
Good guess, but Fastnet's a big, tall lighthouse on a rock. That's a short, squatty lighthouse up on top
on a big rock.
That is the Muckle Flugga Lighthouse.
How could I forget?
How could you? Yeah, I mean.
How could I ever know?
Exactly. So where is Muckle Flugga?
Yeah.
Well, it is not the northernmost. Some people say it's the northernmost in the British Isles, northernmost point, but it is not. And Graham Sweeney helped me sort this out this morning. The British Isles' most northern point. My graphics department screwed that one up. Most northernmost point. My graphics department being me, of course.
Yes.
Well, no, there is actually a further northern point called Outstack. Apparently, Muckle Flugga is the most northern inhabited, or it was until they automated the lighthouse. Who knows? It's a small rocky island north of Unst in the Shetland Islands in Scotland. It is often described as the northernmost point of the British Isles, but the smaller islet of Outstack is actually further north. It used to be the northernmost inhabited island, but forfeited that accolade to Unst when Muckle Flugga Lighthouse was automated in 1995 and the last residents moved out.
Do we know what Muckle Flugga means?
Now, Julia, I'm hurt. You think I'd do a whole long segment like this without?
Well, you waited a long time.
Well, I'm just getting to that. We got to lay the groundwork here. I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
Okay.
The name comes from the Old Norse Mikla Flugi, I don't know, meaning, quote, large, steep-sided island. It has frequently been noted on lists of unusual place names.
Oh, okay.
Now, are you happy?
Yes, I am.
This is not even a Tom's tangential.
No, it's to the point.
This is to the point. This is sailing, and we're talking about this yacht race. Now, according to local folklore, Muckle Flugga and nearby Outstack were formed when two giants, Herman and Saxa, fell in love with the same
mermaid.
Yes.
Well, of course.
They fought over her by throwing large rocks at each other, one of which became Muckle Flugga. To get rid of them, the mermaid offered to marry whichever one would follow her to the North Pole. They both followed her and drowned, as neither could swim.
Let that be a lesson to you. I know. Oh. Oh.
And our thanks to this gentleman, you know who that is, talking about Norseman. You know who that is? That's our FOSI.
Graham?
Yes, that's our FOSI Graham Sweeney,
yeah.
who lives just down the coast in Scotland at Mid-Yell, on the island of Yell in Scotland. And he texted this morning to say, yes, have seen a mast or two go by my window after they rounded Muckle Flugga. I don't know if he spelled that right or not, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
Now, who's Graham Sweeney? Of course, he's on here for virtually every show.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a keen and awesome FOSI. He has 4 nicknames according to his Facebook page. He didn't know I was going to run this. He has 4 nicknames. Look at him. Nickname Frosty, Badger, Rusty Nail. I wonder if he likes to drink Rusty Nails.
Mm-hmm.
And Greyhound.
Mm-hmm.
His favorite saying, one of his favorite quotes, who is the happier man, he who has braved the storm of life and lived, or he who has stayed securely on shore and merely existed?
From Hunter Thompson.
From Hunter S. Thompson, who actually wrote extensively about the America's Cup back in the 70s.
Did he?
Yes, he visited, got famously drunk and I don't know what all else, and wrote and climbed up on boats late at night. It was Hunter S. Thompson. Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Well, you had to live in Newport, Rhode Island.
Maybe I was drinking at the time.
You had to live in Newport, Rhode Island
to
know what was going on. Okay, now the FOSI are getting anxious. Alan Long Pip has posted many good videos on Facebook. Do you think? How about if I run one right now?
Yes, we rounded Muckle Flugga about 3 hours ago. Very, very, very happy.
This from yesterday.
To see that bit of land.
Couple days ago.
It's been, we never would have imagined it was going to take so long to get up here. And, it's been just challenge after challenge in terms of, finding the wind and getting the boat going. So very high spirits to make it round. We're now currently beating down the east coast of Shetland in sort of fairly similar conditions. It's a light to moderate breeze, very fluky.
That's the one.
And I think it's far from over. It's still very challenging meteorologically for the last bit of the race. Looking forward to hooking into this low pressure and just getting some miles underneath us down the North Sea. But then it all gets a bit complicated after that. So, we are still kind of with the same mindset of picking our way through these complicated weather systems. And it is really complicated. If you look at a synoptic chart at the moment, all the fronts and different centers of pressure all over the place, it's a challenging place to sail at the best of times with tide and traffic, but the weather at the moment is another layer on top of that. So this has always been a challenging race, and that's one of the reasons why I entered it. But this has kind of taken it to another level. But yeah, it is downhill from here. We're really looking forward to the finish. We've got enough food, but the choice is beginning to diminish as all the ones that people didn't want are left in the bag. But we haven't got to fisticuffs yet. However, we're fairly sure that certain people are stashing things around the boat. We'll see. But it's all good. We are all happy.
We're all happy. Not fisticuffs yet. Not yet.
Once they're speeding down in the wind, they'll be
well,
all
they've
right.
they've got some breeze. Speaking of which, I have a slide where they are, and this was from a few hours ago. As I was preparing the show, they're well down the coast now. They've had pretty good breeze. That video, I think, was from a couple days ago when they went around Muckle Flacca. Muckle means big, according to Graham. And they're down. They're obviously going to be the first to finish. They're way ahead of the 40s and the rest of the fleet, and they'll get down here and finish in at. Look at Marco Polo took their transponder, took their tracker home someplace that the boat's obviously not in the west end of England. So that's her progress, and they will, it looks like, short of a breakdown, they will be clearly the first to finish on their Imoca 60. So bravo Zulu to Pip Hare and her team. Mm-hmm. And that report, I hope that satisfies many of you who are asking. The weather, the weather at Worley says, not usually like this. You go to any regatta, right? Weather's not. We don't ever have weather like that.
I know.
Excuse me. Andrew Pindar, the fleet need to be careful. Not that far from Gothenburg, and it's Mark Husted's birthday today, so prepare to repel boarders. Is that true? They're not that far from Gotham. Well, yeah, okay, up there on the coast.
Yeah.
True. The 40s up there.
Yeah.
I mean, where's Gothenburg where is it?
It's right there. Yeah.
No, that's Gothenburg's over here on the coast. It's like up here somewhere, right? Is it here? Somewhere up here. Who knows? Someone will fill us in. Is Marco Polo in Bristol? Yeah, it looks from his tracker. It looks like.
Yeah.
It looks like he's someplace inland. Mm-hmm. Okay, obviously they took their tracker home. That happens to all of us. Let's get into Sail GP because we're asking the question: is it true? That regatta, the next one is this weekend, the 19th and the 20th. The Rockwool Denmark Sail GP. That's Norway time. Yeah, thank you, Ted Ryman. I was pointing to Norway. That's the Norwegian coast. You got to get around to the other side for Sweden. Don't tell my mom that I couldn't identify our home country. So we told you on last Friday that Nathan Otteridge had joined the Swiss team, and we were giving a Bravo Zulu to it, as he had joined, is the former Japanese driver, has opened up about on the podcast that they were doing, that they do for Sail GP, about the scope of his role advising the Switzerland team at the Great Britain Sail Grand Prix in Plymouth, where he surfaced on the boat, but in an advisory capacity. Not as the coach, but as the sailing advisor. Maybe they've already got a coach. Soon after the news broke that Japan was out of the league, Switzerland appointed Otteridge to the position of sailing advisor to help fast-track the learnings of the team. And there he is now. And another photo that surfaced this week, and the assertion on the Sail GP website, at least over the weekend, I guess, Otteridge will step into the driver position during the Rockwool Denmark Sail Grand Prix event in Copenhagen next week, this coming weekend, but emphasized that his goal is to get Swiss driver Sebastian Schneider up to speed. At 26, Schneider became the youngest driver when Switzerland entered the league at the beginning of this season. Mm-hmm. So
how's that going to work?
Well, I don't know how it's going to work, because now I'm seeing on the website, I've gone and looked, Julia, at multiple other stories, and they're all still listing Sebastian as the driver this coming weekend. So I don't know if there's been some pushback or if it's happening and they haven't updated the website. So maybe one of you can tell us what is going on, because I haven't been able to find out.
Mhm.
And yeah, sorry to point to Norway. I feel like a complete crouton. I'm only 7 miles from Muckleflugga, Graham Sweeney says. Every chance you get to say that. Andrew Pindar is going to help us point out Gothenburg. When the Scandinavians have a party, the Dane brings the akavit, the Norwegian brings the fish, and the Swede brings his brother. David James. Andrew Pindar, and even closer to Mucky Pub, I guess. Okay, they're back and forth. But I don't know what's going on with this, whether it's true or not. That's question one. And if it is true, is it correct or is it Plutonic? So I put it to all of you on the assumption that Nathan now is taking over this weekend and is the driver, as SailGP reported earlier. Is it correct or Plutonic? What do you think, Julia?
I understand it, but I'm wondering if he will retain the advisor role and not drive.
Well, Julie Ahrens, I did email the Swiss team. I did email SailGP, but I have not had it. I have to check my mail here, but I have not had an answer yet from any of them. Fabian Haraldson, hello, Fabian. Anybody CPH bound this week for the SGP, let me know. Headed to Copenhagen for the Sail Grand Prix. My money is on Nathan Blake Middleton, meaning he thinks Blake is going to drive. Does anyone else have it? What do you think, Julie? You think it's not correct for Nathan now to switch and drive the Swiss team? The Danish team.
It's okay, but I don't know what they're doing about the
nationality. Well, it's a new team, and they've got some flexibility, the same as you've got, some of the other sailors. I mean, look at the guys that have jumped around from one team to another because it's a brand new team. And
I understand it totally. If he doesn't disqualify them for some reason, I think that.
Oh, Stingray's weighing in with a comment. He must have put his rum away for the moment. Mm-hmm. Not that he had it. Correct, Ted Ryman says. Correct, Julie Aaron says. Correct, Stingray says.
Then it's got to be correct.
Alistair Murray saying, yeah, he's going to helm, not drive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if he's going to helm, and when you're helming one of these boats at approaching 50 knots, you're driving. You're driving, you are skippering. It's very hard to do anything else. There's a good question from Ed Worley. How does TNZ, he said this at the top of the show, how does TNZ feel about Nathan helping out the Swiss Challenge? Well, it's not the Swiss Challenge. Well, it is the Swiss Challenge.
Yeah,
Excuse me, not the Danes. The Swiss Challenge.
Yeah.
Stingray is finally able to join. Being a new team, Switzerland needs exactly this. Okay.
I think that's probably right.
So most everybody agrees. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm waiting to hear. And I asked a couple of others of you this morning to see if you could find out. Nobody saw, but it does seem. They said he was driving. And then that quote I gave you, correct, the cost of winning is high. Jonathan Frank saying now in a comment. So we shall see. It'll be another interesting thing to see. I don't see anything wrong with it.
No, because they do need a little experience on their side. So
yeah, and we've got others that have bounced around from experienced teams into new teams, and
absolutely
more power to them. How much rum will he bring to the team? Nate's not a big partier. He's a solid citizen. He's of course an Aussie who's now living in New Zealand, married to Emma Blackman, whose dad ran TNZ back in the 90s and early 2000. Graham Sweeney, time for Micro Muckle Brewery. I don't know the Micro Muckle Brewery, but Andrew Pindar seems to know it. Okay, most of you think that it is correct, not Croutonic, and we'll take everyone's word for that. Rockwool Denmark Sail Grand Prix is this coming weekend in Copenhagen. Hosts the fourth event of Season 3 as the most competitive racing on water returns to Denmark on the 19th to the 20th of August. We'll be expecting, Julia, a good report from Gordon Smith, who lives just outside of Copenhagen. No doubt he'll take his kids there. In fact, he's weighing in with a comment, having both a new crew and new skipper is a challenge, needs some solid experience in either the crew or skipper. Gordon, give us, hope you give us some reports over the weekend and maybe something for Tuesday. Julie Aarons, it's like what Coots did with Dean all those years ago. Yes, breaking him in. Okay, so much for the Sail GP coming up this weekend in Copenhagen. Now, it's time for Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote from a float. A float, Julia.
Yeah.
Okay, have a look. Looks a little
G'day,
bit
Tom,
like John
Julia,
Emmett.
and all the FOSI. This is Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote. It's been a couple of weeks this week from the Whitsundays, the beautiful Whitsundays. The first thing you probably notice is that I seem to have a fair bit of clothing on. I've got a bit on here. It's relatively warm. It's about 20 degrees, but it's quite strong seas and probably a 20-knot wind. You can see we're rocking and rolling quite a bit. So hence the wet weather gear and the life jackets. You'll see over my shoulder the motley crew back there. I'll get them to wave to you a little bit later. We've had a great time here at the Whitsunday sailing around for the last week. This is one of the best places in the world to charter a boat, and if you haven't been here you should consider doing it. So you can see there's a fair bit of rocking and rolling. So we're currently sailing down towards Hamilton Island, and what I'm going to do is pan around and show you where we're heading. So this is Hamilton Island straight ahead of us, and we're sailing down through the passage to the north of it, and we'll be coming back into the marina, which is where that beautiful yacht club is, which is designed to resemble a whale. As you can see, we're making good speed here. Mate, how good is sailing? I know that all the FOSI, all the Friends of Sailing Illustrated, do all sorts of sailing. I like to race more than anything, which means I don't do a lot of cruising, but I do a lot of racing here at Hamilton Island. It's really good to do a course like I've done this week. I've been sailing for 55 years, but you don't know everything. You never know everything. You do a course and just brush up on the basic seamanship type issues like navigation and anchoring and picking up buoys and pilotage and cardinal marks and navigation. It's just a good thing to do. It keeps you sharp. It's a bit like the racing rules of sailing, I think. If you know the racing rules, you get rusty on them unless you study up on them and get into the odd protest and get up to speed. So yes, here we are. It's been a fantastic week, and looking forward to being back on Sailing Illustrated and seeing all the FOSI. You probably see, I'll pan around again to Hamilton Island. You can see some apartment blocks in the background. You can see them. Maybe I'm in the way. That's where we're staying. Maybe we can't pick them up. It's some apartment blocks, and that's where we're staying this evening, which is the end of our journey. And I'm heading back to Melbourne tomorrow and back to civilization and all those boring chores that we have to do every week, and back to work, actually, quite frankly, which is a lot of fun. So I'm going to sign out from here, and I'm just going to get one almighty wave from the crew. I want the crew to say good day. Waving, there they all back there.
Having a great time.
Having a great time. Hi guys. Yeah, hi guys, and cheers from Ammo. Bye. And sorry about the camera work. I'm probably not the best camera person in the business. I perhaps could learn something from John Ehman. See you guys. Bye.
What a great report.
Yes,
huh?
Yes.
Fantastic report. Great camera work.
I was going to say the camera was really good.
And it's really high quality too.
Yes.
I mean, that's well done. And John Emmett, we got to get John to do one, Julie, from a float like that. Ed Worley saying nice report. David James, we chartered for a week in the Whitsundays, and I can agree it is one of the splendid places in the world. Yep, I've been to Hamo once with the Cup. But Alistair, you are in civilization right there on the water. Terrific by Alistair Stingray saying, very cool report from a float. Blake Middleton, thank you. And I love it. Gordon Smith says, when a FOSI shares their world with us, terrific.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about 76 trombones, and what a big wheel that is on that boat. Well, that's typical for boats that size. Lots of other people on here, Julia. Just a lot of new names, too, of people signing on and watching. Welcome to everybody. Specifically, or at least notably, namely, let's see where they go. Tim Dalton, there's a new name. Hi, Tim. And who else? James Smale. Hi, James. and one or two others, new names. There's Peter Bretschker Jr. Must be watching from Connecticut or maybe from his office. Correct the cost of winning. Okay, back. So there's some other comments on there from folks around the world. Thank you, Alistair. Thank you very much for that really cool report.
Yes.
And that little outro music as well. I got to prepare some music for the Emmett report in and out. Maybe FOSI will suggest what we do for John. Okay, Alistair, thank you very much. Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote.
Afloat.
From afloat. Right?
Yes. Lovely.
Lovely, indeed. Which gets us to the America's Cup segment for today. And the AC37 Cup date from Barcelona. The bases have been identified now, have been allocated. The final base allocations have been confirmed as Barcelona begins preparations for the 37th America's Cup. And soon, the builders will move in as each team constructs their own base with a concentration on form, function, and fan engagement. Emirates Team New Zealand, as holders of the Cup, were the first to select and have secured the corner area on the promontory that leads out to the impressive World Trade Center, where the Media Center and America's Cup event offices are housed. Currently, the facility is a port terminal, the terminal Drassanes, and a rather large ship arrives late in the afternoon to offload lorries and passengers from the nearby Balearic Islands. Crucially, though, for ETNZ, the team are in the heart of the action at the western end of the planned America's Cup fan village and within easy walking distance of the downtown La Rambla walkway. The famous statue of Christopher Columbus, you can see it there sort of sticking up above this graphic, is right there in the corner. And it is actually pointing at the Kiwis' new base. You can't miss it.
Yes.
As challenger record, Ineos Britannia had second choice for the base selection and have opted for a coach park area that fronts onto the current super yacht mooring facility adjacent to the condemned IMAX, the theater. Alinghi Red Bull Racing will be nestled between the aquarium and the shopping center, and with the marketing might of Red Bull, will be able to capitalize on significant footfall in the area. It will be exciting to see what the base architects have in store. That from the America's Cup website today, and then a couple more photos laying it all out for you. You can see there, I'm sure just fine, that here is that area out here with the team base. This is an extra team base in case the French challenge does in fact come through. The AC, America's Cup event office, ETNZ here inboard from that. This is the AC Race Village along this area. Ineos Britannia is here, Alinghi Red Bull there, New York Club's American Magic over here, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli here, and the so-called hospitality and fan zones, the beach viewing, and then the race area there in the upper left corner of that slide. For Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, up near the top center, and American Magic also up near LRPP, both teams have opted for bases further around the port on its southern flank, out towards the imposing W Hotel, where viewing galleries and hospitality facilities are planned to watch the racing just yards off the beach front. Meters off the beach front, please. The Italians will be housed to the western end of the port entrance, just down from the Barcelona Nautic Center that is being used as the temporary base for Alinghi Red Bull Racing, in an area that is currently disused and something of a blank canvas for the most stylish team in the Cup. I wonder how Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli feels about that assertion. Anyway, that's the latest from Barcelona. They're tangential to that. Today on the front page of Sailing Anarchy was this beautiful photo. I'm not sure who took that photo, but that, you know where that's from, Julia. That's the 1880.
How about
1986 12-meter World Championship in Fremantle, Perth, Western Australia.
Oh, okay.
The year before the Cup. And it was one of the coolest regattas in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
All those, and I don't know if that's a Sharon Green photo or somebody else. It could be, I think Sharon Green took it, but it might also be a Danielle Forster photo. Bravo Zulu to either and both of them, as they took a lot of great photos, as did any number of the other photog friends. Now, this on the front page of Sailing Anarchy in an article entitled "Their Cup Runneth Over." It is time to speak the unspeakable. The cohort of sailors, designers, engineers, builders, and assorted hangers-on who have made the America's Cup their lucrative private honeypot have lost the plot. They are so myopically focused on their own ambitions that none have apparently paused to consider the destructive impact their actions are having on the most revered event in the sport of sailing. Let us count the ways. Now, this is a long article. I commend you to go have a look, and we'll discuss it on Friday, because I'm not going to go through each of these items line by line, but I will take you through this one, which is the point that is made here. The Defender sells hosting rights for the next Challenge Series to whichever city in the world is prepared to pay most for the privilege, even if they have no connection to any of the participating teams. Barcelona, it's like playing the Super Bowl in Vladivostok. Do you agree, Julia? You care to comment, Julia?
Well, I'm a believer in the Constitution and the Charter,
which allows this to happen.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. I people who assert otherwise, that say that they don't, Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron doesn't have the right to do this. They do have the right to do it. And I don't read the deed, and I don't think most other deed experts, some try, but I think they can run it wherever they want. Same as, sadly, Golden Gate Yacht Club ran the event in Bermuda.
Sadly.
Same as the Swiss ran it in Valencia, because they really didn't have much choice. They could have run it in the Swiss lakes, but it was better in Valencia. Valencia was a great spot. But this long article, I commend it to you. We probably will discuss it, because they make several of the so-called anarchist David, I don't know who it is, on the front page of Sailing Anarchy today. And, there's no coarse language. It's a thoughtful article. I agree with some of it, maybe perhaps most of it, but I do commend it to you. Go have a look, and we will discuss it at some length on Friday. In the meantime, tell us whether it's correct or crotonic. Or crotonic, right?
I think it's too late.
Yeah, the venue is too late. I suspect the venue is good. Let's see what other people are saying. Starting from the bottom, comment, it depends on your definition of the deed of the word courses. Yeah, Stingray, I can't. I'd be the first one to try to read it otherwise, but I think RNZ is within their, Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron is within their right. Olympic Sailing CD going to be great. John Emmett says, well, John, I was there for the Olympics. I'm not sure you were. And it was light. And when you're sailing dinghies in light air, and there was a lot of bounce off the breakwater for the courses right there in front. But we'll see how powered up these new AC boats are. Because if they're not foiling, if they're displacing in Barcelona, it's not going to be much fun. Replying to David, the Luna Rosa shop in Valencia did about 100K euros a day. I don't think that's true, Steve Gruber. Did it really? It did serious business, and I bought a fair bit of stuff there at their really nice store in Valencia. It's a very good article, Ed Worley is saying. That is the article to which I refer, as does Alan Long, thinks it's a good article. That Cup Series, and I think Ed means down, he was there. He was with Newport Harbor Yacht Club's Eagle Challenge. That Cup Series was magnificent. Indeed, it was. A cinema theater needs to be removed before Alinghi can relocate. Yes. Yeah, it was in Fremantle. Ed Worley saying, replying to, they got to sell T-shirts. Those Catalonians, they predicted which way Columbus should point.
Lovely.
But David James saying, base location will be important since there won't be enough wind for a sailboat regatta. Alistair's going to try for 6 A's next week. Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote afloat and what?
And away.
No, there'll be something. I won't say it. It came to mind. My Stingray's already rented an apartment. He says his apartment will be facing right at Ineos and Alinghi bases. Yay.
Thanks for the invitation, Stingray.
Yeah. Jonathan Frank is saying, it sounds like SA was listening to our conversations 6 months ago. Okay, we're an hour and it's hard to believe this is really going fast for me, Julie. I don't know about for you. Is this hour and 20 minutes going fast? Or
Yeah.
Is it? Lots of fun, lots of laughs, great FOSI contributions as we get now to our D block in the final segment here for Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, Julia.
Mm-hmm.
And some submissions from the FOSI. Can you guess from whom this came? He is in Africa. The monkeypox test. That is from Ted Ryman.
Yeah.
He and Ed Worley become the stars of sending in great jokes. And come on, that's funny, don't you think?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
That's
What's wrong with that? Okay, this is one from Ed Worley. Well, you almost made it, except for your language when docking your boat. Docking.
We know one or two of those guys.
I don't. Docking is never easy, but there's no point in cursing about it. What's the point in cursing about anything?
Nothing.
Or shouting or screaming in the boat. What's the point?
But famously, in every yacht club, there's always one or two captains who just yell and scream.
That's true, and they should be excused from further participation. Now, I put this on my Facebook page, and it got a lot of comments. This also came, I think, from Ed Worley. I can't remember now.
Mm-hmm.
So, in fact, I may have gotten it from several of you, but it almost requires a caption contest. And the best caption I've seen so far is, I think it sends mixed signals.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Now, I think the jacket's okay, Julia. It's the matching tie and shirt that I think makes it's a little much.
It is.
If it were just the jacket.
Who's it? Who does it?
I don't know. Somebody must. I think Ed Worley sent that one as well. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it was Ed Worley. I can press on. There's the thing. But I would wear that jacket to some kind of a yacht club, not a serious formal yacht club party, but I'd wear that on the show and give you all.
Yeah, right.
But make you go crazy.
But with a single colored shirt.
Yeah, maybe a blue shirt and a red tie or something.
No tie.
No tie. Okay, even better yet. I mean, now that's dressed all over. Graham Sweeney is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, red pants. Yeah, maybe with red pants and a blue shirt or a white shirt. Jacket is so obnoxious. Steve Gruber says everything about that outfit is croutonic. Stingray. I'd wear the jacket for certain. Maybe in the Stag Cruise play. Flag officer's jacket. Yeah, the comments are coming in. Yes. Ted Ryman saying, love the jacket, shirt and tie as is. Too much. Julie Aarons. Yeah, I agree. It's too much as it is. And yellow wellies. Lots of comments coming in. Okay, thanks for that. That's the end of the D block. I do have one photo here at the finish line. This I also posted on my Facebook page. Those of you who saw it, this is from our friend, our good, dear, longtime FOSI and fabulous photographer talking about alliteration. You know what that is? Where that is? That's Jamestown on Connecticut Island in the middle of Narragansett Bay, looking north across the western end of the Newport or the Pell Bridge from Jamestown, looking north. And a few days ago, late summer clouds in Newport, Rhode Island, the spiritual heart of sailing, at least in this country, and a fabulous photo by our dear friend Daniel Forster from Switzerland, now living there in Jamestown. And just a magnificent way, I thought, to end the show. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, beauty.
Speaking of which, ending the show?
Yes. We hate to say goodbye, but you can like, follow, and share us with everybody, and all are appreciated.
Indeed. And comments are welcome too, even in replay, as you all know. We hope you'll support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. Give us a few bucks a month. Helps keep us afloat here. This is viewer-supported media, and also contributions from the FOSI and from a lot of other folks, Julia, who send us.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And let us use their videos and their images and even their music. Gordon Smith, thank you. Blake Middleton, thank you. I'll see if I can get you a short video afloat from my race. That's a good idea, Blake, from his race management perspective on the beautiful Lake Minnetonka up there in Scow Country. And Stingray is saying, it reminds me of what Peter Montgomery once said, you can only pull up your Red Sox if you have them. Fritz Mueller, thank you.
Yeah.
Ted Ryman, thank you. It's over too quickly. Well, we appreciate very much all of you tuning in, as we say. And we hope you have a great rest of your week. Hope to see you on Friday. In the meantime, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now. Live shot from the Soggy Dollar Bar again.